now, since we are done with continue keyword, let's move on to break keyword. Okay, just comment this simple example of Christmas and get back to our main example. Here we have the two for loops and the condition inside. I will just replace the continue keyword with break keyword and let's see the difference. So let's run our program. Look at this. Value of I equals 0. Then we have normal 3 iterations of j, 0, 1, 2, end of outer for loop, or end of the first iteration in outer for loop. Then we increase the value of I by 1. We go again to execute the inner for loop. We print the value of j, and then we increment the value of j by 1. So 0 plus 1 equal 1. So now j equal 1 and I equal 1. So this condition is true. Okay, so here we get inside this condition to execute what is inside, we find the break keyword. So once we execute this break keyword, see what happened. Directly we end of outer, we display end of outer for loop. Why? We didn't even continue the next iteration of the inner for loop. We just broke the whole loop.
I see.
You understand?
Yeah, it's j equals.
Last time when we used continue, we just broke the current iteration where j equal 1, and then we resumed j equal 2, right?
Right.
That was with the continue keyword, but now we are using break keyword. So here, as you can see, we have printed only j equals 0. And when j was equal to 1, we found the break keyword, so we didn't print the value of j when it was 1, and we didn't even execute when j equal 2. We broke the whole loop. We just printed end of outer for loop, and then we went back to the outer for loop to increment the I by 1. So here I became 2, and then we executed our program normally. You understand the difference?
Yeah.
Let me write it to you to make it more clear. Here, break breaks the whole loop.
The same break in the case.
Yeah, without executing next iterations. To really understand continue keyword, you will find break and return very easy. Okay. So break keyword is clear, or you have some questions about break? Do you have questions?
Not yet.
Okay. So here, break keyword is used to break the inner for loop. This loop, not this one. Because as you can see, we just broke the inner for loop, which is for the j, okay? But we continued the value of I normally. the outer for loop, this one got executed normally. Okay? What if we want to break the outer loop? Like we want to terminate, yes. We want to terminate this whole outer loop from here, from this position in the condition inside the inner loop. We want to terminate the outer loop. What we're gonna do?
We put a break underneath it.
Hmm?
Put another break underneath.
You mean
put
here?
another break. Yeah,
Here?
put a break. Yeah, break around there. Yeah.
Okay, it's still like it's true. Like here, I can put break. Okay, and like somehow, yes, it's possible. But what if my logic, okay, force me to break it from here, from this condition, from this position? What I'm gonna do? Do you have an answer? Here we have to use the return keyword. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we try one more time, okay, and to run this program, look at the difference. Value of I equals 0, because here we start with I equals 0. So we go print the value of I equals 0. Then we go to the inner loop. J again equals 0. And J is less than 3. So here is I equal to 1? False. So we print the value of J. J equals 0. Again, we increment J by 1. So J becomes 1. Is I equal to 1? J, yes, is equal to 1. But I'm talking about I because the whole condition should be true. Is I equal 1? No. I equals 0. So it's not enough to make this condition true. So this one is false. We will not execute. We'll only print the value of J. So J equal 1 here. We print the value of J equal 1. And then we increment J by 1. So J becomes 2. And 2 still less than 3. So here we'll get execute this part. Is I equal to 1? No, I is still 0. We didn't make any change for the value of I. So this condition is still false. We'll print the value of J equal to here in this line. And then end of outer loop. We'll go back to the outer loop. I was 0. We'll increment I by 1. So I becomes 1 and I 1 is less than 3. We'll get to execute this body. Value of I equal 1 here. Then we'll go inside the loop. J equals 0 and 0 is less than 3. We'll check this condition. Is I equal 1? Yes, true. So let's check the second part. Is J equal 1?
No.
No. So we'll go, this condition is false. We'll print this, sorry. We'll print this line, value of J equal 0. Okay. We'll go increment j by 1, and 1 is less than 3. So I now is 1. Second part is also true, like j now is 1. So this whole condition is true. We'll get inside this condition. We will find the return keyword. So we'll terminate the whole program. Look, last value printed is, or last line is value of j equals 0. Value of j equals 0. We didn't execute any of these. All next iterations, all parts, all these statements didn't get executed. Why? Because return keywords, like the strongest keyword you can find, it terminates the whole issue. You understand?
Return.
So here, I will tell you return. As a whole function. Another use return is to return a value. But we'll talk about this part when we discuss functions in Java. Okay?
Right.
For the meantime, just know that return keyword, it terminates the function inside where return keyword is called. Okay? Next, when we talk about functions, you will learn how to use a return keyword to return a value. Okay? Later, we're gonna see this. Okay? Okay, this one is a return keyword. One more thing I want to tell you before we end our lesson is how to differentiate between this outer loop and inner loop. Like in code here, how to differentiate between this outer one and the inner one. I know, yeah, like you don't know, like this info, you don't know, but just guess. How can we differentiate between this one and this one? Like here, for example, if I have a variable called x, okay, another variable here called y. Here I can easily say x equal 1 and y equal 2, because I have a reference to call this variable. It has a name called x. This one has a name called y. So it has a reference to help me get back to this variable. Right? Correct? You hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what about loops? How can I differentiate between this one and this one?
And you can I equals 0. Your I. Your I, you can reference your I.
Like I told you the key, like I should have a reference or a name to this
Yeah.
to this loop, so I can differentiate between this one and this one, right?
Yeah, like your
So here in Java we have a smart solution where we can give a label to the loop. Here I can tell this for loop, I will give it a name called Maxime, and I put the code exists. Okay. And I think I can do the same thing to the inner one. I can give this name Cody. So here inside, instead of using return keyword, I will get back to break keyword. Okay, I will say break. Here, as you can see, it's telling me some suggestions. Do you want to just break, or you want to break Cody, or you want to break Maxime?
Break Maxim.
Okay. Okay. Like here, if I break Maxim and then I run again my program, let's see what will happen. Look, once I reached the value of j, okay, the for loop Maxim got terminated. And then we printed end of program here. That is the only difference between return and break. Return returns the whole function. The whole function, this main function got returned, got terminated. Okay? But using break keyword, okay, main function is still running, but I just terminated Maxim for loop, the outer loop. Okay? What if I just replace this Maxim with Cody? So Cody here, and then I run again my program. Look, I equals 0, J0, J1, J2, end of outer loop, and then we increment I by 1, so I becomes 1. Again, J is still 0, we increment J by 1, so J becomes 1. So here this condition is true, I equal 1 and J equal 1, so break Cody. So this whole inner loop got terminated, but still the outer loop Maxim is running. So we didn't print j equal 1, j equal 2, but still the program is running and Maxim is running. So now in Maxim, okay, we incremented I by 1, so I now becomes 2. So value of I equal 2. And then we get execute the same program again. We get j equal 0, j equal 1, j equal 2, end of outer loop, and then end of program. So you understand?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Is it easy?
Kind of, yeah. Maxim. I never heard of Maxim.
Do you have any questions? Let me again.
Can you show me the results of the return? What happens in the...
Okay, just give me a moment. I will write this note to you that we can give label to the same as we did to Maxim and Cody. Okay, you can do anywhere to loops in Java.
Using Maxim, right?
Hmm?
We can use Maxim for reference.
Yes, as a reference. Like, then we can refer to loops in code by using its label. Okay. Sounds easy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can we make a recap about continue, break, and return? We said continue, just skip the current iteration of the
Yep.
loop, but doesn't break the loop. The break keyword breaks the whole loop. Okay,
Right.
without executing the next iterations. Return will terminate the whole function. Like the whole function will get terminated. Like no code will get executed after the return keyword. Okay.
Right.
Okay, but still return keyword still has another usage. Okay, to return values. We're gonna talk about this when we discuss functions in Java. Finally, we can give labels to loops to refer to this loop in the code. Okay, so here we gave this outer loop a name, and again this one we give it a name or a label. Then here on line number 25, we can refer to this inner or outer loop in the code. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, tell me your questions.
Can you show me the return? What happens when you put a return? Like when you run the program with the return?
You want me to execute the return again?
Yeah.
Okay. Return. We execute. Look. Once we reach this condition to be true and we reach the return keyword, okay, the whole function terminates. Nothing else gets executed after the return keyword.
Nothing gets executed.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yes, exactly nothing. Okay, unlike break and continue. Each one of them has its own usage. And it all depends on the logic you want to put in your code. What else? Like feel free to
return. The difference between the return and break, because they both terminate. They're both terminate, but they both cancel the iteration.
Okay, let me tell you. See this outer for loop?
Mm-hmm.
It's still running inside the main function. This main function is it has bigger scope than this outer loop. Okay. So here when I say return, okay, it terminates the whole function. And this outer loop is already included inside the function. So it all get terminated. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to keep the function running normally and I just terminate this for loop only, I use the break keyword. How I'm gonna use it? By giving labels like this. Like here, if I replace Cody with Maxim, here I can terminate this loop without touching the function. So when I run this code, the only difference at end of program still get executed. Why? because it's outside this body of the outer for loop. Look, this bracket indicates the end of the outer for loop body, and this statement is coming after this bracket. So it's outside the body and get executed. Let's run the program one more time. Look, the current output, this end of program statement didn't get printed, right? Now, if we run our program, look, end of program. All above is still the same behavior, except of end of program. Why? Because this main function is still running. We didn't tell this function to terminate.
Yeah, return terminates it.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, I think this is enough for today's lesson. Okay, keep practicing until we meet again in the next session.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, have a good day.
You too, thank you so much.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson and it's useful to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, goodbye. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Have a good day.
You too. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.